This is the most obscure piece of Kingdom Hearts media that I've ever seen. Now, that may seem a little bit hyperbolic. Yes, I know some people definitely know about this, but I've just not seen that many people talk about it that much, at least nowadays. In the vast sea of Kingdom Hearts videos here on YouTube, there's not one video talking about this at all that I've seen. People just don't really bring it up anymore. I think it's something that's very, very cool. They put a lot of effort into this one little thing, more than they needed to, and I think it's just really, really endearing. And I just want to show up with you guys in case you haven't heard of it yet. So let me introduce to you to Kingdom Hearts, the Scepter, and the Kingdom. I've either said something you've never heard of or unlocked a very core memory for a very select few group of people. What exactly is the Scepter and the Kingdom? There's no Kingdom Hearts in the first part, we just scratch that. So the Scepter and the Kingdom is a Kingdom Hearts comic book that was released back with the original Kingdom Hearts back in 2002, making it probably the first Kingdom Hearts comic, manga, anything like that, at least to my knowledge. It is Italian in origin, and it was made exclusively for this thing called the Kingdom Hearts Official Game Magazine. Not to be confused with the strategy guide or some other kind of promotional material like that. This is its own separate thing. Apparently, it was sold in several kiosks around Italy and other parts of Europe during that time to get some details about the game to hype it up for people. From my research, it seems the person behind this comic is a man by the name of Fabio Saloni. He's an Italian artist who mainly does stuff for Disney over there. And this guy is pretty freaking legit. Like, his art is really, really good, especially his Disney stuff. If you look it up, he does a lot of more detailed, kind of cooler looking drawings of Disney characters. Look up some of his stuff. It's really, really nice. It was then localized into Spanish and then distributed by Game, which is pretty much the GameStop or EB Games over there in Europe, which included the magazine as a pre-order bonus for people who pre-ordered the original Kingdom Hearts, where it went under the name, excuse me, El Citro y el Reno. I said that so wrong. But they eventually translated the magazine into English for Australian people. It is harder to find that version, though. The more readily available version does seem to be the Spanish version, unfortunately. But you can find the full English version of it if you do a little bit of digging like I did. But what exactly is the Scepter and the Kingdom, you may be asking? Well, I am glad to tell you because it's very interesting. So believe it or not, this is actually kind of like an alternate universe version of Kingdom Hearts in a sense. Like, it doesn't follow a lot of the same conventions. It doesn't involve any main storyline or snippet from the main game. No, it's its own kind of little universe kind of thing. It's only 12 pages long, but there's some very interesting kind of cool stuff packed in those 12 pages. Just even looking at the first page of the comic right here, you can tell that it has a lot of stuff ingrained with Kingdom Hearts, but it's kind of going for its own little thing. It's a lot darker. There's a lot of shadows in it. There's a lot of detailed drawings in it. They put a lot of effort into this small little promo comic that only a few people would see. And why do I say like alternate universe, that kind of stuff? Well, let's kind of go into a story synopsis and see what I'm talking about. This is not going to be a full reenactment. I would like to do one day. I think that'd be really cool. So if that's something you're interested in, hit me up. It starts off with this creature that is not exactly a heartless, per se. It doesn't describe it as a heartless, it just calls it an evil creature, stealing this thing called the Fairy Scepter inside of Disney Castle. Goofy tries to defeat the monster, but he's defeated, and the thief says that with the power of the scepter, he'll take the sword off the stone. Of course, referencing the Disney movie, The Sword and the Stone. This makes this the only appearance of that movie in the entire Kingdom Hearts series, outside of Merlin, you know, just existing in the games. As Donald rushes in to see what's going on, Minnie says that the scepter is a symbol of the absolute power of fantasy, meaning that if the thief learns to use it, he will have the power to do absolutely anything he wants. Apparently, Sora and Riku are just chilling in Disney Castle because they just walk in saying that they're going to chase after him and take back the scepter. If you remember the Arthur legend, whoever pulls the sword Excalibur from the stone becomes king. So they determined that the thief is trying to become king of ancient Britain. Okay, Sora and Riku, knowing about ancient Britain. Chill. So Donald uses his magical powers to send Sora and Riku to the world of the Sword and the Stone. Not using the gummy ship and not calling it by its own world name like Camelot or anything like that. Nope, just the world of the Sword and the Stone. That's what they call it. I guess they go by Disney movies in this universe. Sora and Riku don't have the best of entrances, landing on someone's tent in the middle of the street. And when they unfurl the tent, it turns out it's Frollo from the Hunchback of Notre Dame. Donald sent them to the wrong world. This also makes this the first appearance of, how do you say it again?
La Cité des Cloches.
There you go. In the Kingdom Hearts series. Donald, seeing all of this stuff in his magic ball, asks Goofy to go get some magical herbs to send Sora and Riku back. Frollo, confusing Riku and Sora for wizards, starts attacking the pair as they go ahead and hide, while Esmeralda looks down at the streets, dismayed at what's going on. After a brief fight with the guards, Esmeralda offers Sora and Riku a place to hide. Meanwhile, Goofy returns from his trip looking for the herbs, but he only returns with regular herbs and vegetables, not the magical herbs, leaving Sora and Riku still stranded. Esmeralda then introduces herself to Riku and Sora, with Sora asking if she's the princess of this kingdom. Esmeralda just laughs it off. Sora and Riku meet Quasimodo on top of the tower, describing how you can see the entire city from there, and maybe if they look hard enough, they can find the door that will get them out of there. Suddenly, the gargoyles intervene and show them the way to the actual door that will lead them out of there. Sora unlocks the door with his Keyblade, and they finally enter the world of the Sword of the Stone. They encounter the thief with the scepter in hand. They engage in battle, but Archimedes the Owl comes swooping in to take the scepter from his own hands, after he does a little slapstick slipping on a bucket of water, which just so happens to be spilt by Wart, the main character of the Sword and Stone. Sora and Riku thank him for his help and then ask Donald if they can finally be brought back. However, Donald forgets the formula and is not able to bring them back. Riku angrily yells at Donald to bring them back, and Archimedes jokes that Donald is not such a great wizard, but they know a much better one, that being Merlin. Donald tries one more time, but as he looks behind them, Sora and Riku are back with the scepter in hand, bringing back balance to the world of fantasy, I guess. Thus, ending the comic. And there you go. The Sceptre and the Kingdom, at least a summary of it. Again, I would like to do a full reenactment. If that's something you want to help me out with, like a voice actor or something like that, hit me up. It's very strange looking at this, with it being 20 years removed and knowing what Kingdom Hearts really is now, because this does not follow a lot of the same conventions as Kingdom Hearts. Obviously, there was no gummy ship in there. Donald just magically sent them to a place, and Donald and Goofy didn't even follow them with them. It's just Riku and Sora. It features a world that wasn't going to be featured in the series until 10 years later, and one that still hasn't made it in yet, except for Merlin, of course, because Merlin's cool. And there's probably a couple reasons why there's a lot of differences in here. One, they probably didn't give them that many details on what to do. They maybe just gave them some character models and some basic outlines of what they wanted, saying, hey, go wild. And probably they did this earlier on in the development of the game, because, you know, these things don't just happen overnight. Because you can see some elements of the beta for Kingdom Hearts in this, like the logo is very reminiscent of the beta Kingdom Hearts logo. They're in Disney Castle in this, which was supposed to be a world in Kingdom Hearts, but it was cut, and some slightly different costumes for Donald and Goofy. They don't show Mickey Mouse in here either, which I think is also part of the agreement that they had with Disney at the time, because apparently Mickey Mouse was supposed to have his own special little game, and they didn't want that competing with another game, so they only had Mickey show up as like a silhouette in the main game and nowhere else besides that. So I think that's part of what's going on there too. You know, outside of that, not really much to it. Again, just 12 pages, only there to promote the thing, not canon to the actual Kingdom Hearts story in any way, shape, or form. It's its own little separate thing. But for some reason, I have a lot of fondness for it. I don't know why. Like, if you look at the drawings, you can see that they put a lot of effort into this with like the shadows and the lighting of it. It's very unique and very, very atmospheric looking, and they put way more effort into making and shading this comic than you would for any other like promotional thing. And then they also went to the effort of making original worlds for this comic that weren't featured in the original game and kind of doing its own separate little thing. And I think it's very admirable, and I think it's very cool that they kind of did that. Again, it's kind of like an alternate universe version of Kingdom Hearts that we didn't get. That's why I think it's really cool, and I think it's something that more people should know about, so I'm making this video. But then Kingdom Hearts was released, and since this was only in one magazine that was available in only certain regions of the world, it quickly got forgotten and it became obscure. And then no one really talked about it for quite a long time. The earliest mention that I can find of it on the internet at all is a forum post back in 2011, stating if anyone remembered it and if they had any copies to share. I first became aware of it back in around 2019, back when around Kingdom Hearts 3 was first coming out. I was a lot more focused on Kingdom Hearts around that time, obviously, and this came up as a neat little tidbit of trivia that I came across. But there didn't seem to be any high-quality scans or copies of it online, so I just kind of forgot about it. Fast forward to about a year ago, and I suddenly remembered that it existed, and suddenly I was really wanting to find this thing. I started digging around, started looking for this thing. I started doing multiple pages back on Google searches just so I can find anything on this, and I had no luck. I eventually came across a YouTube video with 10 views with a suspicious Google Drive link in the description that contained high-quality scans of the comic in English, because all the copies that I had found up to that point were in Spanish. I did see that someone else uploaded the entire magazine in English itself onto Reddit, so I'll leave a link in the description for you guys to go read that if you want. Don't be like me and risk your privacy online. Speaking of risking your privacy online, this video is sponsored by Absolutely no one. But yeah, at the end of the day, just a promotional comic to celebrate the release of the first game. Not much stuff in it, but again, I find it endearing with the amount of stuff that they were able to include into these 12 little pages, and I think more people should know about it, and so here I am presenting it to you. Have fun. Also, as a side note, I want a copy of this freaking magazine. I have been searching all over the internet for this thing, and I cannot find a single copy for sale at all. All I've found is pictures and some scans. I've been looking into the Sceptre and the Kingdom shit for so long that I want an actual copy of it at this point. So if anyone has a copy of this and is willing to hit me up, let me know. So tell me down in the comments below what you guys think of this. Have you ever heard of this before? Did you even have a copy of this growing up? What is your guys' thoughts on this? Did you think it was cool? I would like to hear what you guys' thoughts are. This has been Matt, and I will see you guys in the next video, whatever that's going to be. So yeah, bye!